Well, hey there, you're on the internet, I have some free time, and welcome to the Triple N Network, where all you newbie nib nerds can find all the news you'll need. Let's look at an ink today, shall we? Now, today's ink, I'm actually very familiar with, because when I travel, at least in Italy, it can be very hard to find inks besides this brand, which obviously you know because you've seen the title of the video, but it's Pelikan, or Pelikan, and this is actually one of their colors from their standard 4001 line that I really enjoy. The others I'm not a huge fan of. They're okay, but this one, Turquoise, is such a bright, vibrant turquoise. It has good saturation, incredibly easy to clean out of pens. So when I was at the San Francisco Pen Show last year, I decided to get a bottle, and actually someone was selling it for really cheap. I got this bottle for, I think, $5 or $6? Maybe, it was $5. I think. Pretty sure. Anyways, and interestingly enough, it's a 2-ounce bottle. Usually European inks come in European measurements, so the 62.5 milliliters is rather amusing, but yeah. So yeah, I've had it in cartridges a lot when I travel, because it's easy to pick up. They have it in any stationery store. But I decided to get a bottle, and I decided to review it, and here we go. Now, the two pens I used were these. This is a Pilot Metropolitan with a Japanese medium nib, so it's sort of more like a Western fine. And I also used this Lamy Safari with a broad nib. And this was actually the first time I had ever used a Lamy broad nib, and it is definitely that. It is definitely broad, and it was definitely a bit wet, as you will see. Now, I wanted to find some comparable inks, which actually was almost amusingly easy. I think I found like it's either 8 or 9 comparable inks. You know, some were a little off, but I had to narrow it down. So here's Pelikan's 4001 Turquoise, and here's Toucan's Bright Blue. Pretty similar. And here's Lamy Turquoise. Pretty similar. Here's Noodler's Navajo Turquoise. Pretty similar. And here's Noodler's V-Mail Midway Blue. Pretty similar, because it's a turquoise. Honestly, turquoise is turquoise. From most major brands, the turquoise is going to look pretty the same. The other things that were mixed in here was Schaefer turquoise. What was it? Couple of the other major brands, just, you know, because it's turquoise, man. Turquoise is turquoise. Now, let's check out the chromatography. Now, here's the chromatography as you're supposed to do it. You can kind of vaguely make out, but actually that's the lines from the nib on the paper. That's not actually, like, gray lines, it's just, it's messing with the lighting. But yeah, you can see where it was, and then there's very, very, very light blue, and then the further it goes up, the darker it gets. And then here's where I let it dry, which admittedly is not how you're supposed to do it. But again, it's mostly just the lines from me using the pen that's sort of futzing with the lighting. So you can't really, it's not naturally gray. But anyways, it's much the same. Really not a whole lot of change. And that's another thing that Pelikan inks are known for. Very easy to clean out of your pens. So not a lot of water resistance. So I wanted to see what it could hold up against, or at least what would happen. As you can see, water really, really broke it up. 1/3 bleach solution really started to break it up, but I had to sop it up before I started eating through the page. Ammonia pen flush got it moving, but honestly, water did better, amusingly enough. And hydrogen peroxide just sort of started to make it do weird stuff. I don't know what was going on there, but anyways, paper tats, top down in density, Clairefontaine, 90 grams per square meter. Yep, I hope. Oh, do you see that in the L? You get a tiny little bit of this red, it's like a micro halo sheen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it anywhere else because it's just so tiny. But it's there. It's around the wettest parts. Now, it is a very bright, sort of jolly, jovial turquoise. That Japanese medium took 11 seconds to dry, and the broad Safari took 21. And as I say here, it is noticeably wet, but not like out of control wet. I'd say it's at least a 6, maybe a 6.5, but that might have been because I think that pen is just naturally wet. So yeah, you get nice shading, you do get a halo effect, which personally I like. I know not everyone does. And very well behaved, you know, no bleed, no feather, no spread, no echo, no show through. You get a little bit of that sheen. Not a lot of water resistance. I mean, you get bits of the broad, literally, you get like half a W, half an A. You get the bottom part of the T. That Japanese medium is largely gone, but 3 out of 4 letters of test are gone with the broad too. And then like half of the dots remain. But yeah, so there's that. Next up is Fabriano, which is 85 grams per square meter. And I love this paper, honestly. This is becoming my favorite paper. Here we have more of that, I hope this shows up, like micro halo sheen. It's not going to show up because it's just my day. Oh, you can kind of see it around the tick marks of the 25. Ugh, come on, man. I intentionally laid it on thick to try and make sure I could get some of the sheen to the point where I warped the paper. I put so much ink down that it began to warp the paper. And yet, nothing. Not even an echo. Not bad. Now, again, this ink is slightly wet and has decent saturation. It never looks undersaturated, never looks thin, never looks watery. And so we do have some slightly longer dry times. But honestly, I say somewhere that it follows logic. You know, this is a wet ink, this is a broad nib, this is premium paper, 25 seconds to dry. That makes sense. That Japanese medium took 12. Lovely shading. You get this lovely, very distinct halo effect that has this like micro red halo sheen. It's very nice. Yeah, no bleed, no feather, no spread, no echo. Water test is kind of what we would expect. It's largely gone. There we go. You can see the dots from the broad, but from the Japanese medium, you barely can make them out. The test is completely gone. The water is eh. And then again, we get like half of every letter. So, Next up is Rhodia, 80 grams per square meter. Where, yeah, okay. Come on. No, I can see it. Why can't the camera catch it? Again, we have just sort of tiny micro halo sheen around the wettest parts. It's right there and right there. Not as much in the writing, but we do get a halo around the wettest parts. You just don't really see the sheen in it. See around the H in halos? That dark outline around the darkest bit? That's what I mean when I say halo. Now, Japanese medium took 10 seconds to dry. Broad, I mean, look at that smear. 20. So again, it follows logic. It's such a bright color. No bleed, no feather, no spread, no echo. I see there's no sheen, but there kind of is. You just have to lay it on really thick, and it's small. You're not going to get a ton of sheen on here. Now, water test, it's pretty gone. We can make out the dots from the broad, but even the writing from the broad is pretty hard to pick up. So, but yeah, that's something that this ink is known for. It's not a water-resisting ink. Upside, super easy to clean out of your pens. Now next up is Tomoe River paper, which is known for drawing out dry times and shading and sheen, and it did. And if I can't get this on camera, there we go. Come on. Oh, and it's only picking up like 10% of the sheen. There's so much sheen all through those scrubbies. Oh, and you can see it in the letters a little bit. It's a lovely contrast because it's such a bright, vibrant red with this like soft but intense turquoise. It's really nice. But yeah, it did draw out dry times, but honestly not as much as I was expecting. It can really draw them out, but yeah, look at that smear. It went off the page. This is wet ink and this is very resistant paper. So yeah, that Japanese medium took 17 seconds. The broad took 28, which is great because generally I stop counting at 30. So at least I could say that. There is intense shading. And you get this lovely halo effect in the wettest parts. It looks just gorgeous. There. In bleed, everything around bleed. Looks like somebody went and like wrote an outline around it. It's just gorgeous. But however, because it can get very dark where you lay it on thick, you might have a bit of an echo problem just because this paper is so damn thin. But if that's something you're sensitive to, maybe just be aware of it. It's hard to, honestly, it's hard to find an ink that won't echo on this, but yeah, water test. This paper is known for really letting water just slide away when you add. This paper is known for letting ink slide away when you add more water. I can talk. That Japanese medium is just utterly gone. You can get the barest little hints from the broad. It didn't dye the page, curiously, and you can tell which strokes and which dots were the broad. But yeah. Now, for the next 3 tests, I only used that Japanese medium, except to write the name. And this is the world's worst 20-pound copier paper. Now, it did spread. The line width did get a bit broader, but really not much. Nowhere near what we're used to with this paper, because it usually earns the title of world's worst quite noticeably. It's a bit of a woolliness, but look at the color. The color is still so bright and vibrant. That's a lot of times absorbent papers, it's almost like they suck the vibrancy out of an ink. This time it really didn't. 1 second to dry. There is a woolliness, there is some like feathering. It is like a woolliness that bleeds into feathering. But it's not big, huge spikes. It's not turning it into furry monsters. It's really not so bad. And there's nowhere near, it doesn't have anywhere near as much bleed as I was expecting. Now that is the broad. And you do get little hints of stuff, but for the most part, that's really nice, considering what we usually see. I mean, there's a little bit here and there, but I mean, we don't have dots everywhere. It didn't render onto the page below. Honestly, I was not expecting this positive of a performance. However, okay, absorbent papers tend to suck ink in, make it harder to wash out. However, something totally bizarre happened here. It exploded and just became hazy. And actually, as you can probably tell from can you see there? This paper actually started to act like chromatography paper. The water started to just get pulled deeper into the paper, started to take the ink with it. It's bizarre. Yeah, so don't get it wet on copier paper. You'll end up with a disaster. Now next up is Mead Notebook Paper. It's physically thinner than 20 pound. It's very common for school children in the United States. And lately this stuff has been feathering, like a lot. And it did feather a bit, but not as much as we usually see. Like, so you see quick, that's pretty bad. But the next to it is fine. Over is fine. Brown is fine. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it just happens and I'm not exactly sure why. But yeah, it took 2 seconds to dry. Very bright, bold color. Very pleasant. Quite well behaved. We see hints of stuff, but it never actually comes through. We don't see, like, look, even that broad, see that? We can see like an echo of it. But everything else, super well behaved, didn't come anywhere close to coming through. Honestly, I mean, I don't use this stuff anymore, but if I did, I might consider writing on both sides, and I almost never do that. So, yeah, you could. You absolutely could. Now, this paper does tend to freak out when you add water, and it kind of did. Calm down. Camera, calm down. Yeah, it feathered and exploded. The stuff in the center was, like, kind of keeping it together, but that would be such a pain in the butt to recover. That would be the opposite of fun. Yeah, so lastly is Moleskin paper, which I hate because it hates ink. And it definitely hates this ink. I mean, okay, this is the broad, but I feel like this will just be easier to show you. Imagine this, but scaled down. So it's gross. It's gotten this gross texture. It's gotten lumpy and like it feathers. It's just nasty. It's really woolly looking. You don't have any shading, and that is like, so you see how dark these dots are? They actually came down onto the page below in several places. Like you see these really, really dark dots. So those fully came through. So not only would it be very distracting and uncomfortable to write on the back of this, but when you turn to go to the next page, you'd already have dots left behind. So, ugh. And that's a lot. That's a lot from a Japanese medium. A Japanese medium is like a Western fine. This one is definitely like a Western fine on the fine side. Yeah, and then there's this. Okay, so it freaked out a bit here with the Mead and the 20 pound, but you can still see like the words at the center, right? And then the stuff on the side starts to feather out and explode. This, I don't even have words for. What is that even? They literally melted into each other like a box of crayons left in the sun. Like, what is this? Ugh. I hate this paper. Anyways, yeah, so there you go. There's Pelikan's 4001 Turquoise. It's fairly inexpensive. It's very reliable. It's easy to clean out of your pens. It does pretty well on inexpensive papers, comparatively. Great shading. When you put it on premium papers, you get this beautiful, like bright, like strawberry red contrast with this turquoise. It's just really beautiful. So if you're into that, definitely something to look into. It comes in cartridges, which is generally how I've used it because I travel. But yeah, this is of Pelikan Standard Series, hands down, no competition, my favorite. Yeah, so there you go, for your consideration from the Triple N Network. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe to the channel. And thanks for watching. Bye.